The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area.
Support for this program comes from the Gail and Tom Benson Charitable Foundation, committed to funding educational causes.
Steppin Out is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
Whether it's the latest museum exhibit, the newest restaurant, or the current hot play,
we appreciate the weekly updates on the arts, music, and entertainment. Let's step out.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hi there.
Hey,
hello. Longtime WWL-TV anchor, reporter Dennis Woltering. Dennis is now the head of Woltering Photo Video and has a brand new history documentary that WYES will be showing next week. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Good to be here.
Hello. Alan Smason, editor of the Crescent City Jewish News and theatercriticism.com. Hello. And he's back, Augustin J. Correro, and he is the co-founder and artistic director of the Tennessee Williams Theater Company of New Orleans with a brand new production. Welcome, kiddo. Good to see you. Hello. A fancy dinner, Miss Poppy, with spirits.
Well, speaking of Dickie and the spirits and such, we have to mention the closure of the Palace Cafe.
Yes.
Because that was a tremendous shock to the restaurant community this week. But you know, that's how real estate deals go sometimes. And all I can tell you is that Dickie, of course, is hoping to recreate, reinvent, and who knows where that could turn out. But I think there was kind of a sour feeling about the employees with some people who didn't know what really happened because it was a very sudden closure. But over half of the Palace Cafe employees have gone on to some of Dickie's many other properties. The people who they didn't have places for were given 2 weeks severance, and their health insurance will continue through Cobra, of course. And the cheesecake, the crab meat cheesecake that everybody is like, where's the cheesecake? Some of those Palace Cafe yummies are going to be appearing on other restaurants of Dickie's, but you can also get it anytime, a whole one, from the commissary. So I wish Dickie the best, and at least the Palace Cafe was so beautifully maintained, and everything else, at least we won't see another tragedy like Tujague's. Yeah, that sign is on Aretha Castle Haley behind Big Sexy Neon. But I know where the columns that flanked the mirror, I know where pieces of the bar are. And we're never going to see that stuff again. So sad. Anyhow, happy news. How can you not be happy when it's going to be Tales of the Cocktail? And of course, I've been talking about that for the last couple of weeks and all the fun you can have for a ticket as little as $10. And that's going to be the 20th through the 25th. But my buddy Dickie is kicking it off early at Dickie Brennan's Bourbon House with the Neely Family Bourbon Dinner. That's next Wednesday night. So if you can't wait for Tales, you can start to get your tails on early. 3 courses and an amuse-bouche and oysters on the half shell, all paired with special 4 different Neely bourbons. And it's $125 inclusive for all that. What a great deal. And speaking of great deals, also next week, it's going to be Magazine Street Restaurant Week. And what that means is that there are over 30 restaurants participating where, like places like Le Petit Grocery, Osteria Lupo, Shia, even old faves like Joey K's and Reginelli Pizza all have specially priced menus and deals. So go have a bargain, delicious meal on Magazine Street. And then get in the Christmas mood, everyone, because Commander's Palace, well, it's going to be Christmas in July soon, they have a new raffle going, and the highest sought after reservation, you cannot get one right now, the Friday before Christmas. That's like at Commander's Palace, like the Friday before Mardi Gras at Galatoire's. And so T and Lolly are holding a raffle, and every time you make dinner reservations at Commander's Palace between now and September 30th, when you book the reservation, you tell them, I want to be included in the raffle. So you can dine there once, or you can dine there 50 times. And if you dine there 50 times, you'll have 50 chances in the raffle. And it's not just a reservation. It's a table for 6 people, and the check is going to be covered up to $250. That the drawing will be held on October the 1st. And then, we've talked about Magazine Street. Another place uptown I wanted to mention was Aquila. This is a new bistro, bakery, and coffee shop that just opened up on Britannia off of Jackson. That's that corner where Zara's used to be for so long.
Yeah.
They are open there 7 days a week from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. You can start off with great breakfasts like an omelet, the Aquila.
6 a.m.
Yes,
Wow.
they're open
Okay.
at 6 a.m.
God bless them.
They have an Aquila Nola special that it looks like shakshuka with cheese and sautéed tomatoes and eggs, a roasted balsamic and honey fig bagel with whipped ricotta, sandwiches, even croissants and eclairs baked in-house, beautiful little hand cheese pies, salads, burgers, even lobster ravioli. And they are serving the entire menu 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. Aquila's Bistro and Bakery.
All right, thank you very much. And Dennis,
Yes.
you are one of those guys, writes, produces, can shoot, edit, all those good things.
just have
you
fun
have
doing
a
it, that's
brand
all.
new documentary about West End, and specifically West End in general, but West End Fountain. Tell us about
Yes. So it's about about West End in the late 1800s, early 1900s. It was a time when it was characterized as sort of the Coney Island of New Orleans. There was an amusement park, resorts, all built on pilings over the lake, and it was fascinating. I mean, the things that happen out there are just unbelievable. And early jazz came to life out there, as well as I talked to Richard Campanella, the geographer historian, who said that vaudeville was very prominent in the early 1900s, and it had a presence at West End, which I found
Will you
amazing.
have a clip to show us? Set
Yes,
that up.
we have. So here's a clip of a little sense of what the documentary is about.
All right, let's take a look.
New Orleans West End today is a vibrant, charming recreational boating hub. History reveals this lakefront area has gone through an extraordinary evolution.
The 1880s, 1890s is really the heyday of what many descriptions would characterize as the Coney Island of New Orleans. You have entertainers coming out there, you have pavilions. Later on in the early 1900s, they called it a scenic railroad, but we would call it a roller coaster, and this thing was elaborate. I mean, ups and downs like this, enormous Ferris wheel.
It's a place where early generation jazz came to life.
The musicians that performed at West End were very important in the history of jazz because they helped to develop the music. Part of that development was competition. A lot of musicians got to hear each other play. They would try to outplay each other. So that was very important because it inspired musicians to reach farther and farther into developing the music.
It's also a place that attracted thousands of people to West End Park, with a new kind of colorful fountain that was revolutionary for the 1910s when it was designed and built. Unfortunately, we only have black and white photos like this of the fountain. However, when we animate it with artificial intelligence, you can see how the gushing streams of water shot up to the sky. By adding color, you can get a sense of how impressive the original Darlington fountain might have looked. And it would have been accompanied by a live band performing nearby.
It was spectacular.
All right, we've hopefully whetted your appetite. West End and the Dancing Prismatic Fountain this Monday, 9 o'clock, Wednesday, and at 10 o'clock, and then more air dates. It's going to air quite a few times in the next few weeks. Go to WYES.org. What was your favorite part about the documentary? And the
actually, you know, it was a challenge doing the history because all you have are photographs. Everything's kind of dead, you know. So we used artificial intelligence in a lot of areas to bring things to life. And I think it really helped liven up the story.
And yes, we still miss Fitzgeralds and Brunings. Oh, the list is long. Anyway, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thrilled that you're with us. And my goodness, Tennessee time. And usually in March, but we get to talk about Tennessee Williams with this brand new production, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Yeah, we are hitting with the Tennessee Williams Theater Company of New Orleans our 10th anniversary of staging a show this month.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we're doing Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. We finally come around to doing the third piece in the sort of crown of Tennessee Williams' Big Three. We're really excited because we're bringing forward the Broadway ending that was originally staged with Williams and Elia Kazan. And we have an incredible team of local performers and designers. And we have a scene that we can show you all that features Randy Sheremy, Chef Randy Sheremy, as Big Daddy in his fourth time playing this role. And this scene is also with Brandon Kotfala, who went to NOCA and Loyola, and the whole team is just amazing local artists.
Let's take a look.
My karate. What are you disgusted about? I just said to kill my disgust. Disgust with what? You try hard bargain. Look, just tell me what you're disgusted with, and I'll pour it myself. I'll pour the liquor and then hand it to you myself. I can hop on one foot. If I fall, I can crawl. You want liquor that bad? If I wanted that bad. Rick, if I give you a drip, will you tell me what you're disgusted with? Yes, sir, I will try to. You ever hear the word mendacity? Sure. Mendacity, it's only them $5 words that cheap politicians throw back and forth each other. You know what it means? Only mean lying and liars? Yes, sir, lying and liars. Somebody been lying to you, Brett? Big Daddy, that's a case of shot for you in there. Get out, Kipper. Excuse me. Who's been lying to you? Has Margaret been lying to you? Has your wife been lying to you? I heard that wouldn't matter. That who and what about? No one single person, no one lie. Then what? What then, for Christ's sakes? The whole thing, you know? What you rubbing your head for? You got a headache? Oh, I'm trying to concentrate, but you can't because you got too much liquor on the brain. How's that your proper Rick? Huh? Little wet brain, huh? What do you know about this mendacity thing, boy? Hell, I could write a book on it. Don't you know that? I could write a book on it and I'd even cover the subject.
Famous scene, sir. And what a set.
Yeah, we're really excited.
And now, through the 27th, at Marquette Hall Theater at Loyola, and twtheater.nola.com for tickets. But it's ambitious.
Yeah, it's a really, this play comes with a lot of expectations. A lot of people have encountered it before, but then also we'd like to bring it to audiences who have never experienced Cat on a Hot Tin Roof or Tennessee Williams or ever heard the phrase Cat on a Hot Tin Roof before. So we really think it'll be something for everyone. And we also hope that this one leaves you with more questions than answers.
Absolutely. Now, Augustin, you, about a few years back with Pelican, you did if somebody is not, Kel Herrera, if someone's not familiar with Tennessee Williams, they need to be, just in terms of pop culture, of course. But you have a book that will explain who Tennessee Williams is and what he did. Huh?
Tennessee Williams 101 came out, and I guess it was 2021. And it's a primer for anybody who's never heard of Tennessee Williams before. It jumps off, tells you all about his life and the theater that he created. And there's also some stuff in the back for if you're a theater creator, just some things to chew on and think about to help with your theater practice.
And I've got to do plug because you have been a long-time partner of the theater company with the Tennessee Williams Festival in March, which is going to be the 40th anniversary. So we're all looking forward to working together with that too. But welcome to our table.
Of course.
Good to
Thank
see
you for having me.
Hello. Alan,
I kind of
speaking
feel
theater,
a little bit honored because I'm going to tell you, Augustin and Nick were in my car following an episode of Steppin' Out when they first came on around the time that you were doing Jesus Christ Superstar, and you said, we want to start our own theater company, and that was so very long ago, and yet here you are once again. So yeah. So Summer Lyric Theater at Tulane continues to put on extraordinary work, not too far away from where Cat on a Hot Tin Roof is going to be, at the Dixon Hall stage this time, though. The opening night of Stephen Sondheim's company, in many ways the show that really established Stephen Sondheim as the foremost American theater composer of his day, is going to be opening tonight and running through Sunday. Sondheim took a couple of his famous yellow notepads out and began collecting insights from friends about married life. Robert or Bob or Bobby is an unmarried man. He's got several girlfriends you can see there arriving at middle life and attempting to make sense of it all. He has his married lady friends as well who are very protective of him. Sarah, Joanne, Jenny, Amy, and Susan. And they're all played very well by Meredith Long, Wendy McLachvich, Leslie Clavery, Meredith Owens, and Alex Page Loomis. And then the married men. They all have their perspectives on marriage too. David and Paul and Larry and Peter and Harry. They're all played by Joseph Mace, John Michael Hass, welcome back to New Orleans, Rich Arnold, Scott Sauber, and Keith Clavery, all respectively. Meredith Owens has a fantastic time with I'm Not Getting Married as a frantic bride. You don't want to miss that performance, nor an outstanding version of Another 100 People by Sadali Ogeron, who plays Marta, one of Robert's girlfriends. As Joanne, though, everybody knows, Wendy McLachvich rises to sing The Ladies Who Lunch as the penultimate or 11 o'clock number and does a really fine job with it. But the key to this whole show, directed by Leslie Clavery and choreographed by Caitlin Zellen, is Bogdan Minka. He plays Robert, of course. He's the glue that holds this work together, and when he sings Someone Is Waiting or the plaintive Marry Me a Little at the end of Act 1 or the unifying number of Being Alive at the end of the show, he is the epitome of a leading man. And with so many other fantastic numbers like the Act 2 opener, Side by Side by Side, and What Would We Do Without You, this is also an ensemble show. Company helped really reconstitute Broadway into a proving ground for Sondheim, who in turn went on to inspire others, just like Jonathan Larson and Lin-Manuel Miranda. A word of warning, I have to tell you, do not miss this show, but please, parking is limited due to ongoing construction on the campus. Go early and think about maybe taking a free shuttle or a Lyft or an Uber to and from the theater at Dixon Hall. Company by Stephen Sondheim will be playing at Dixon Hall through the weekend. Go check it out, and you can get those tickets now. Now, that parking situation will be exacerbated by more theater on the Tulane campus. That's the New Orleans Shakespeare Festival getting started with their second major production this year with Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. Among the players for this one will be James Bartell as Puck, Ian Hawke as Bottom, Sarah Hokulay Spalding as Titania, and Burton Tedesco as Oberon. That's A Midsummer Night's Dream. The opening night is already sold out, so you only have a few more nights to check this thing out, or perhaps on a Sunday. Their show starts about 1:30, so it's a little bit earlier than what the Tulane Summer Lyric shows are going to be. Also, Peg, for the 15th time in history, 30 by 90 Theater is going to be presenting a comedy night. We'll be talking about that. The big draw this time will be the king of the one-liners, Andy Huggins, who's been an internet star ever since he was featured on America's Got Talent. So you'll check that out. We'll have that as well. And it's not too early to start talking about what's going to be going on in August. Arthur Miller's The Crucible, the play about the Salem witch trials, which was the focus, of course, of the recent Broadway show. John Proctor is the villain. Andrea Watson will be directing that one. It's a big cast in August, and it's going to be the Big Couch at 1045 Desire Street. That's at the corner of St. Claude Avenue. And check it all out at fatsquirrelnola.square.site. And a lot of good stuff there.
God bless them. They don't do the easy plays, do
they? No. And you know, they also
Crucible?
They also are doing it, they're programming against what you would think the regular nights for programming for theater. So a lot of people who might want to go on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night are able to see these shows. So that's really important. They're cross-programming. So
Yeah. You know, backing up just for a moment to talk about company, at Tulane Summer Lyric,
yeah,
really.
So far. And they have Carousel still coming. Diane Lawler's going to be directing that one. But yeah, the first show by Johnny Buisson as director for Chorus Line, that was fantastic. It was just amazing. So it shows that good shows. These of course, this is 1970 for Sondheim's company and 1975 for a Chorus Line. I mean, those shows are so good they stand the test of time.
Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah.
Time for picks and a few more words. Poppy.
Well, $5 martini at Pascal's Manali. Another one of Dickie's restaurants. Another thing he saved. Tuesday through Friday, $5 at lunch.
Gee whiz, Alan.
Well, I want everybody to know that the big summer show at Rivertown Theaters of the Performing Arts is going to be on the boards. It's going to be Kelly Fouché directing an old chestnut, Annie, proving once again that you're never truly dressed without a smile. I'll see you at the theater.
Okay, and now my picks. The city's own version of Pamplona, Spain's Running of the Bulls will take place on Saturday morning with related events Friday and Sunday. Money raised goes to a local women fighting cancer, NOLABulls.com. And Stronghold Studios, I'm so excited, they're hosting a yard sale this weekend. Rolls of fabric, sculpted props, house float art, and paper float flowers, those half off. 4429 Bienville between Murat and Alexander. It's near Clessy's in Mid-City from noon to 6 p.m. And we've got this photo, Pretty in Pink, that's from the Muses Parade by David Ray Morris, is one of many local photographers that are in the Photo Alliance of New Orleans' new exhibit called New Orleans de Nuit, the city at night. It opens Saturday at the second story gallery at the New Orleans Healing Center on St. Claude. 6 p.m. reception and up through August the 8th. And the Piety Market, one of my favorite markets at Hotel Peter and Paul, returns this Sunday, 1 to 5, summer clothes for guys and gals, both vintage and handmade, plus art and food and cacti. Tina May will be performing, and the market is accepting donations for Big Easy Animal Rescue. And the New Orleans Art Association is inviting artists to participate in their annual juried show in October. Go to NOArtassoc.org. The deadline is July the 28th. And we have just received word that the United Cajun Navy, their Texas flood relief efforts, need donations. Drop them off, please. They need cleaning and non-perishable items or a monetary donation at Guiling's Auto Service in Metairie, 737 Papworth Avenue, tomorrow, Friday, between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., and they're also looking for volunteers. I want to go back just for a moment to the West End Fountain, West End. One of the things, having had a chance to preview the show beforehand, is you talk about one of the, famous jazz tunes, West End Blues.
Yes.
A little bit of controversy on that.
There is some controversy. Jason Berry, who has written about jazz in New Orleans quite a bit, believes that it was actually written in Chicago. King Oliver wrote West End Blues, and Louis Armstrong performed it maybe 6 years after he left New Orleans in Chicago. And Jason Berry believes that West End Blues refers to a neighborhood in Chicago, not to the West End here. But Dr. Michael White strongly disagrees.
Who knows a lot of
and he says, no, it's West End here. And so it's not definitive, but a lot of people believe it really is West End Blues here.
Yeah.
And Dr. Michael White actually performs clarinet in the show, so it's kind of special.
And also, just trying to think about ahead, my favorite uncle used to talk about that fountain, and there aren't too many people left who remember the fountain.
Yeah.
And that was apparently during the Depression. There weren't too many things you had money to do, so you go and take a ride with your family out to see the fountain, the dancing waters.
And in those days, there was no air conditioning. So one reason people went out to the lake to see this, first of all, there was a live band performing alongside the fountain. There was someone in a booth who was trying to adjust the shooting water streams to the music, the rhythm of the music. And people would go out there to see this show with colorful lights and everything, which they had not had before because they didn't have underwater lights. But the designer created a way to use prisms to show colors and lights and that sort of thing in the streams of water.
And concerning the music being a bit of a jazz history aficionado, if you will, and the whole idea, you know, people think, oh, New Orleans jazz created in Storyville. Well, of course not. Okay, we're talking about the geography of jazz. It's all over the city, but including West End and earlier Spanish Fort. That is where you went to see the live bands. In Millenburg, yeah. Or people say Milneburg or Millenburg. It looks like Milne, but Millen was what people locals said too.
Yeah, Millenburg Joys was. One of the great songs.
Exactly, you know, but the whole idea, what are you going to do? There's no TV, there's no radio. You're going to go hear live music.
Yeah, one of the people I interviewed, John McCusker, who's written about jazz and all kinds of things, pointed out that in those days, in the late 1800s, early 1900s, you couldn't turn on the radio. You didn't have a phonograph. If you wanted to hear music, you had to go someplace. And so that was one of the attractions.
I love that, you know. And then just real quick, Tennessee. I'm getting to talk about some of my favorite topics here today, music and jazz and Tennessee. But the whole idea of the enduring connection to New Orleans and Tennessee.
Oh, for sure. And with Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, you're never going to hear a play refer to the Auctioneer Clinic as much as you're going to hear Cat on a Hot Tin Roof do it.
Isn't that?
Yeah, all of the little Easter eggs that Tennessee Williams plants into these plays, whether they take place in New Orleans or the Mississippi Delta or wherever else, they all can be traced back by like weird secondary characters and names that he uses over and over again. So it's just really fun to see that connection being made as often as it is. Nobody loved New Orleans quite as much, I think, as Tennessee Williams.
Well, thank you both very much, gentlemen. And thank you, Poppy and Alan. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Programming on WYES is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
From Masterpiece to Nova, Antiques Roadshow to Agatha Christie.
And of course, Steppin Out and Informed Sources.
We are pleased to support public television.
It's been our passion.
For a lifetime.
Support for this program comes from the Gail and Tom Benson Charitable Foundation, committed to funding educational causes.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area.